Hi, I'm Mani Festo.
And I'm LMajor, we're from Club Glow, and this is our limited edition. Yeah, I do everything on my breaks and wrecks. It makes it so easy to chop up.
But how does it work?
It's like metadata in the file that lets you add slice points. So all these are pre-sliced.
Let's go with a bit of MIDI.
Try and keep the kicks on so we've got one kick rolling.
Yep.
Makes it easier to mix. I'm gonna just line up the hits so they're all playing the same part.
Yeah, so they're a little bit out at the moment, aren't they? What's that you're doing with that shortcut?
A 0 to unmute the hits.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then what I normally do, just so I don't get lost, is I name the kicks and the snares, you know. So we've got our break rolling.
Yep. You're gonna delete them audio tracks or keep them in?
I normally keep them. I was going to do something for a little edit. Cool. So like, if you've got the Rex file, we'll consolidate it so it's now a WAV, and then we'll do like a warp trick. So I'll take it down to like about 2.5 times. Activate the warp.
Oh yes, it's like the Akai timestamp.
Akai style.
Have you used that Akai program?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I normally use it, but I didn't want to use it today. I just wanted to show people you can do it. You can do it in this as well, you know. And then like after you've done that, pitch it back up to the same tempo.
Well, like you're aligning the hits on the grid, yeah?
Yeah. So you've got like a nice warp for an edit, if you want to do that.
All right, cool. So we've got our main break, which is in MIDI.
Should we start get a pad on there to get a vibe, or?
Let's get the brakes rolling first, because what we've got now is one sync. Play it. Yeah, so let's copy that and do another version.
Okay, cool.
So
do you want to get on it and do a bit of editing? Yeah, man. I normally try and don't have the same snare every time because it gives a little bit of a vibe.
All right, cool. So that can work for a main break.
I just grabbed like 2 pads I really like.
Okay.
You got that?
I like them. Go into my samples, have a listen to my ones. So what I kind of did is I sampled a VST synth, but I sampled all the chords in major and minor for different keys. Just because I like the sound of this preset.
Yeah, it's lovely, man.
Now I've got them all as samples, we can dump that in a sampler, or whatever key we want, and start playing around with it. And obviously, you know, like getting that old school jungle sound is all about sampling the synth rather than playing the synth notes themselves.
Yeah, let's roll with one of them Omnisphere ones.
Yeah, you feeling that?
Yeah, roll with G.
Yeah, I think G works. We get double up the loop for the pad, and then at the end of it, have another higher note going right.
Like an octave up?
Yeah, not even an octave up, just another note. Perfect.
Yeah, mate, that sounded pretty sick.
I don't know if it's the right note, but I like it. Where'd you get the vocal?
Can't say, because copyright.
I've been using Splice for a lot of vocals at the moment. It's all royalty free. It's pretty good website to get on. I don't know how you normally work with breaks, but sometimes I just like to group them. So audio effects. So Able and Saturator.
Yeah.
It's just the one. So I'm just going to set up the break channel now. Right, so we've got an EQ, we're going to boost the kick a little bit, just so it punches through, roll off the top, roll off the bottom, and a little bit of saturation. Also, I don't know how much you use the saturator, but there's some mad things on it. So this wave shaper, right? You can do some proper mad stuff with it. And you like really, it's almost like you're almost like reducing the bit rate of it. Sometimes I'll do that on the break itself just to give it a little extra crunch. Or we can put it on a return track.
Parallel style.
That's it, mate, yeah. So then go into the break again. I'll do the distortion first if I like the sound, and then I'll EQ it afterwards because then it keeps the grip.
Oh, sick.
But obviously you can do it the other way around.
Yeah.
And then we get less on the kick. That actually sounds pretty nice.
I think I prefer it that way. I quite like the kick being...
Yeah, man, let's do that.
But that's crunched up the mids and the top's nice, man. I like it.
Yeah.
You like being in control of the volume, don't you?
Yeah, I do actually, yeah. I do like it a lot.
I like to have a little bit of a sub bass on the intro. Like, normally people leave it to the drop to have the bass come in, but
that's a drum and bass thing, you know. It's not really something that I hear in other genres, but in drum and bass,
just leaving the bass.
There's no sub until the drop. Like,
I love a bit of sub on the intro because it gives you more options when you're mixing the track as well. Do you know what I mean? If something like you can cut it into a different point.
Yeah, of course, and also like when you've got like a pad, if you layer a sub into it, it just adds that whole new sort of dimension to it.
It's my secret Nord
sub. Have a listen, go on, play it through your speakers.
But it's not that much of a secret. I think it's from the BS1 sample pack that I got on Dogs on Acid, maybe.
Oh yeah, Dogs on Acid. Oh.
And also always tune your samples.
Of course.
The tune is one of my favourite plugins.
Mm-hmm. So, would you use this as like the sub running through the whole track or just in the intro?
Depends, sometimes just on the intro.
So will you always quantize that, or do you like to leave it off the grid?
I've found personally that if it's not quantized, that sometimes it phases different against the kick each time the hit plays, unless it's exactly right. And it's harder to mix down, do you know what I mean? Sometimes like certain notes, the sub will jump out and sometimes it'll pop in. And when I mix down, I multi-band side chain compress as well, so I liked it to be quite precise.
Yeah.
I side chain my sub a little bit, around like 100, well, wherever the kicks pop in, just a little bit.
You've got to get those low-end fundamentals right, haven't you? Otherwise the mix falls apart.
I might save it just in case we have
That's a good idea.
drama.
Yeah.
Massive's my weapon of choice for bass.
Do you know what? I haven't used Massive for a long time. I started using Serum more.
Yes, they're well similar apparently. And also Serum's a lot higher CPU hit, I found.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
My laptop's not super powerful. I'll do a lot of resampling. I'll make that sound and then just record it into another channel. And you've got a lot of control over it then. And that's the great thing about Ableton. I can just like make a patch like that.
Yeah, man, it's so
record
easy.
it in, pop it into a sampler or simpler, do you know what I mean? And then you just got it to play.
I use Saturate on everything just to add a bit of harmonics. So that's mono already. Gonna cut the lows out of it. And we're gonna do that at the beginning of the chain.
Was that hard high pass that you use on that? You've got the option of like the soft one and the...
So we get a bit more grit in there. Sometimes I like to go mad with this as well. But we could do that.
Could automate it.
If we're automating this, what we've got is the EQ, and we've got like a resonance on it that we're going to automate going down the frequency range, so it just gives it that kind of like wispy.
Add a bit of movement. I think that's the key to making interesting sounds, is putting a bit of movement in them. If you're making a patch or anything, you can move around. That's going to change the sound in any sort of way that makes it interesting. Like use it. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds tight, man. Yeah, basically anything below 50 milliseconds, if you've got two signals, anything below 50 milliseconds, you hear it as the same sound, and you can manipulate that. If you've got a left and a right, one in the left and one in the right channel, it will just make it sound wider and stereo. But if you push it past 50 milliseconds, you'll hear a distinct gap between the two.
Like that.
Yeah. But subtly, you can make stuff wider just with a simple delay plugin. So you don't need all the like fancy plugins or anything if you know how to use a delay, really. Should we just mark that as where we're going to have to drop?
Yeah. Sort them levels out a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's all about getting the levels right to get the dynamics of the drop right, I think. And something I found with like pitch sweeping and effects and stuff, that it doesn't have any center pitch, so you don't have to really worry about putting it in key because it's constantly changing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
I sometimes do my delays like this.
You basically copy the sample and then bring the volume down by -3 on each one.
I do it like this.
A different way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just use the gain plugin and...
So that's really similar.
If I find like an interesting start point on the bass, rather than like try and find a loop or automate or anything, sometimes I just simply like repeat the MIDI notes on each beat, you know what I mean? Like, blah, 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 and then like extend one out and...
And then gonna do the delay thing we talked about earlier on that.
Yeah, man, I want to see how you do it.
A really tight delay.
That sounds wicked, doesn't it, straight away?
So I like to automate it as well and play around with the delay time. So
that sounds
cool,
I mean? Man. Yeah, I like it a lot.
And then as we're in audio, we can really go nuts with the choppage. So this is how I always do my drums.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
I'll show you what I was talking about earlier with the delays actually. So like go really tight with a bit of the break and then dupe it up, right? And then what I do, starting off here, so we have that one on 0 and then go backwards. So we're going, it's a bit long, don't get me wrong, like it drives me mad.
No, I do this as well.
You do this as well, yeah?
Yeah, I do the same thing.
So then
I do it by threes as well.
Yeah, so then each hit is -3 lower, and then when you do it in reverse, it creates like a rift up almost. That's the best way I can describe it. So, if I've done it again. You see that? It's like a little stuttery effect.
Yeah, it's cool. I like
and then if we automate the delay time.
That sounds wicked.
And then copy it up for the next fill. Because then.
Do you want to copy the automation over?
No.
Oh, cool. Because I was going to say it's locked.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't want to copy the automation because I want it completely different. I'll usually do like 4 of these, maybe more.
Oh, that sounds sick. That sounded really good, man.
I guess with the arrangement, it's just about taking things out and putting things back in different times to just give it that variation.
Yeah, it needs a little bit more hype. Like I normally do this in my breaks. Add like little percussion loops.
I do it with drum machines if I'm doing a more sort of drum machine focused track. Just cutting out and bringing in the rolling hi-hats.
Yeah,
it changes
it's powerful, man.
Yeah, it really
powerful move.
I figured it out when you're DJing, and it kind of comes from like
definitely
hearing a DJ set and being in the crowd, and they play a tune, and then it just has that like 32 bars later, the hats come in or the shaker comes in or whatever it is, and it just like. It's mad the energy that gives you on a dance floor.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. When you hear it out, it's like, wow.
Well, I was thinking maybe putting an arpeggiator before it and seeing what we can get as well.
That's a good idea.
I use the Ableton arpeggiator a lot.
Do
it's
you?
Really good for like generating patterns.
Might filter it out a little bit.
I was looking forward to the drop there. Cut me short, man.
I'm that guy. I am that guy. Right, where's the... So I'm just automating the reverb and delay before the drop. So it just kind of builds up. Delay, reverb, filter, all at the same time. And then when it all comes back in, it's like the space gets sucked in.
It's nice to give some dynamics to the arrangement as well, isn't it? Have stuff slowly fading in, and then the thing I love doing is automating delays off my breaks when say for example, when they go into over a breakdown, it's a really nice way to get a smoother transition.
Yeah.
And I just love the sound of it. I think it's wicked.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, make sure you remember, if you're automating, to turn it off on all the previous regions of your tracks. The amount of times you're like listening, you're like, where's that gone? Yeah, make sure you stay on top of your automation. Let's call that sound, man.
Right. I think that sounds good.
Yeah, I think that's done.
Yeah.
I think we're done.
I think we're done.
Safe, man. That was sick. That was sick, man. I enjoyed that a lot.